I've spent the last few years trying to come to grips with the issue. Fundamentally, I won the Lee Kuan Yew Prize, the inaugural one in 2008. At that point, I was sort of semi-retired academic in San Diego at UCSD.
Okay.
And I got really interested in energy because I was at a place where they were doing science on climate change. And but then all of a sudden I had to address the water community, and then, you know, I'm for whatever reason I'm someone that given this honor in particular, I felt obligated to not just you know, say something about all the great things I've done, which I thought would be rather arrogant, but I thought I'd like to be useful and look at the world of water and see what the opportunities are for not myself but others.
Sure.
So having taken some time to do it, I really thought it was important. I came up with a few issues that I thought were very important.
Okay.
Globally, I see climate change as a given. You know, I'm not one of those who's doubting. You know, I don't know exactly what the reason is. I can't say that, but it's happening, it's clear. I do believe it's related to human activity. But for example, it could be, well, anyway, I don't want to get into that. It's a big subject.
Yes.
So let me focus quickly then. So in that, climate change and population growth are two givens. And then what does that mean for the water industry? First of all, it's going to mean that there won't be enough water for food. So we're going to have famines unless we solve having water. And to get water, you need energy because you're going to have to pump it from
somewhere
far away, not from the ground in many parts of the world. So if you're going to, so energy and cost of energy in water is going to be a critical issue for the world.
Sure.
And then there are many, I don't know how far you want to go on this, but if I stick just on the energy, out of that came the realization that when I do the thermodynamic calculation, which I did for this paper, there is much more energy in what's coming in than what is needed to treat it. And yet we get almost no energy, at least in the U.S., out of the wastewater, and we put a lot in.
Okay.
So I propose that we look at wastewater and waste in general not as a waste, but as a resource. I'm not the first one to do that, but you know, resource meaning all those things that you just talked about. So I proposed that, and then I basically thought, okay, well, I'll see what happens, and maybe other people will do something. But then I got bored of living vicariously. So I went ahead and started pursuing that particular dream.
Okay.
And, so that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay, and so your company is called UTS, right? And so
UTS is one of the companies. I've got
I understand.
A few UTS companies, some in America, some in Europe, and then I got a couple other ones. And I'm putting all of those under sort of an umbrella holding company, which will be headquartered here in Toronto, or near Toronto, somewhere in Ontario.
Okay.
Called Anaergia. That's where the name comes from.
Exactly.
So it's a brand new name. It's launched Monday.
Okay, so that got news value here then. And the product, it's going to be produced in biogas. Is that?
The simplest way that we can make energy from waste is anaerobic digestion.
Anaerobic digestion. Yeah.
So in this current company, that's sort of the centerpiece, and then we'll do whatever is needed around that.
Okay. And this type of energy that comes out of that, is it does it produce emissions? What when you
Good question. Well, it's basically, let's take something simple.
Mhm.
For eons, European farmers have been doing this. You know, the
Okay.
cow manure goes on the land.
Mhm.
It gets aerobically eaten up by the bacteria, a little bit anaerobic, that's why it stinks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then they plow it under and fertilize the land with it.
Okay.
Then eventually this was environmentally not acceptable in many parts of the world, so out came the farm-based digester for environmental reasons, just to get rid of the manure. And the Germans, they put it back on the land.
Okay.
Then a little later, fear of the Russian pipeline and greenhouse gas issues brought Germany into saying, let's put in a feed-in tariff and see if we can make energy from all this waste that we now digest or do whatever with.
Mhm.
So they started having a feed-in tariff regulation.
Okay.
And then on basis of this regulation, with a clear 20-year payment for making energy, the German anaerobic digestion industry flowered. And there are as many as 7,000 plants in Germany
Oh wow.
alone doing this, creating energy.
Okay.
The rest of Europe took a while, but since then has followed. And
Okay.
much of Western Europe has equal or worse or better, but something in this direction.
Mhm.
In North America, only Ontario.
Is doing this.
Only Ontario is doing
In
this.
terms of time frame, when did Germany start doing that to get to that number? Do you have an idea?
Yep. About 9 years ago.
9 years ago, so it's fairly recent.
Yes.
And this type of energy, in terms of application, is it something that works well, say, to feed municipalities?
Municipalities,
I would
have been
imagine
doing
would
it
be.
actually
Okay.
For quite a while.
Mhm.
In Europe, often they do it and they do use it for energy.
Okay.
In America, they often flare it.
Okay.
We are used to very low cost of energy.
Mm.
Europeans are
They're
higher
more prepared
cost.
to pay more. That's right. Okay.
And also, personally, I think it's a sin to waste energy.